Good evening. Welcome everybody to the Gilbert regular City Council meeting of July 28, 2026. It is now 6:15. Call the meeting to order. Can we have a roll call, please?
Councilor Tashnik.
Present.
Councilor Skirvin.
Present.
Mayor Robertson.
Here.
Councilor Reddepenny.
Here.
Councilor Botman.
Here. All right. Everybody's here. We can have a forum. And everybody rise and help me open with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Lynn, do we have any additions to the agenda tonight?
Moving the next meeting, my battery. Moving the next council meeting to August 12th.
Okay.
And then we have the variance hearing that's not on the agenda because it was a separate meeting, but we'll just add it at this time.
What's that?
The variance for Sam's garage.
When is that? You guys know the date yet?
Yeah, we had a special meeting set up, a hearing for tonight, so we're just adding it to the agenda because
Yeah, I don't see them right here, but
we sent letters and there's really nobody that lives next door to him on either side really.
so everybody's been notified that
Yes.
we're gonna have the meeting, add that to the meeting.
Is that under old business?
We can add it wherever you want. Where do you want to add it? Old?
Old.
Okay.
Okay, I'll put on the old business because we haven't talked about forever.
Okay.
Sam's variance request, right? Anything else?
So I've got for J, new business, moving the regular meeting to August 12th. Do we want to also put on there the August 4th and August 18th budget meetings?
You can do that too now.
Yep.
Okay.
So then that will be the council meeting and then 2 additional special meetings.
Yep.
What time? 6 o'clock work?
Sure.
6 o'clock.
4th and the 18th,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Anything else?
Yep. I think that's everything I saw.
All right, let's do motion to add this to agenda.
So moved.
Moved by Councilor Skrillex, supported by Councilor Potocnik to add 3 items to the agenda. As mentioned, any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. They're added to the agenda. Consent agenda. Regular and working session of July 14. I have seen the board of commission minutes. That's all we have on the consent agenda.
I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Skirvin, supported by Councilor Reddepenny to approve the consent agenda. As noted with the regular and working session minutes of July 14, 2026. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries unanimously. All right, public input. Is anybody in the audience tonight have anything you wish to discuss with the council other than what's on the agenda? Seeing none, move on. Reports by mayor and councilors. Councilor Reddepenny, you have anything?
A couple things. First, can we get a quote to fix the road on Orbegon Court and Minnesota Avenue?
Sam talked to me about that.
Yeah.
He talked to Wasabi Bit about doing it. He said it would be later in July that they come to do it. They just have a lot of other work they're doing, and he has it on the schedule with Wasabi Bit.
Was that part of the previous funding that we had towards that, or is this a new line item?
I believe it is, I don't know the answer. I don't want to say one or the other. I'll ask him.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe didn't use up the other $10,000, a lot of it.
Yeah, I'll have to ask him.
Okay.
It is on the radar, so
Okay.
I just have to get the details.
Do we have a follow-up at the next meeting? Or-
Yep.
And one other thing is, went for a walk the other day down New York Avenue East. These sidewalks are like overgrown with dirt and grass, so they're not even usable. So if that's something Public Works can maybe look at if they have time. I don't know if you can shave that down, like take a shovel and get all the grass up, but most of the sidewalks in the city just need a little bit of love.
Edging.
Yeah.
Maybe if they kill the grass with something, you could
Well,
pull them.
so my daughter was pushing a stroller with her baby in it, and she couldn't even go down the sidewalk.
Okay.
It was like an off-road course. So if we could just have them clean that up.
Was it in front of any particular house? Because I know that one of our blight houses is down there.
Yeah, that house, yes, but also it's a whole sidewalk. We can't do anything with the heaving.
No.
But there's grass growing on top, and it looks like the sidewalk just ends in its grass.
Okay.
So just if they have time, I'm saying they have to do it, but.
Well, we'll talk to Summer Help to see about
Yep,
doing
that would be a good
something
question for
to do.
them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think, is it not on one of the ordinances that the homeowner is responsible for that? I think it's an ordinance, and
I think it is in there.
if the city does it, they charge them.
Yeah, we may want to check the ordinance on that because technically the homeowner, I believe, is responsible for maintenance of the sidewalk or upkeep of the sidewalk, not
Right,
necessarily.
like they have to shovel the snow on the sidewalk, so.
And on the whole part too.
Correct, so I think that might be a ticketable offense.
The ordinance says they gotta shovel and they gotta cut the grass, but they don't have to replace the sidewalk. That's-
No, we're talking about getting grass off of it though.
Yeah.
I think,
So I would check the ordinance.
I think it has sidewalk replacement too.
Yeah.
That if we have to replace, they would pay for it.
Well,
I know, but we're not.
Yeah,
gonna
generally we
replace it.
assess.
we asked
It's one of the ordinances.
if they go along with that, but if they say no, then it's no, they don't have to. There's no ordinance saying they have to.
Well, there are some homes where it's clear, it's brand new concrete.
Yeah.
So some people are taking it on themselves and doing a very good job at doing that. So if we have to, we'll look at the ordinances.
Yep.
But yeah, that's something. It's something small, but it makes the city look a lot better. That's all.
I'm just gonna go back on you, to that, to really, if we did a project of sidewalks, then we can do a 50/50 assessment thing, okay? But
Can you do it
just to go up there and say, we got a problem with your sidewalk, you have to pay us 50%, right? No, can't do that. It's gotta be a resolution of a project here.
I don't know if it's.
I
think
pulled
you
up
gotta
the
look at it.
ordinance if you want to hear it.
Okay.
It says specifically, the ordinance provides that property owners must keep adjoining public sidewalks in repair and safe for pedestrians. If a sidewalk is found to be unsafe, the city can notify the owner to make repairs within 30 days. If the owner does not make the repairs, the city may complete the work and assess the cost against the property. Snow, ice, dirt, and rubbish on public sidewalks may be removed by the city if they are not cleared. The ordinance states the city may remove these materials beginning 24 hours after snowfall has ended or after the material has been deposited, and keep a record of the cost for potential assessment to the adjacent property.
So we go through time to give them like a
Like-
notice to clean their sidewalks, and then
or repair.
Then they have 30 days from that point. There we go.
Good luck, I think.
Well, but we gotta start somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else?
No, I'm done.
Councilor Bertoshnik,
Nothing at this time.
Councilor Skirvin.
Two items, both ordinance related. So the first one is just kind of a discussion topic. I'm willing to do research and work on this, but it has come to my attention that since we have changed our commercial garbage, we have nowhere in section 51, which is the section of our ordinance code that talks about trash service. We have nowhere listed there that defines illegal dumping. And so we have a number of business, commercial users that are encountering people dumping garbage, residential garbage in their garbage canisters. I think East Mesabi has been very accommodating in getting them canisters that can lock and things like that. But that still doesn't fix the problem where the city also has a number of canisters that are open to the public. And we know for a fact that there are people who are dumping residential garbage in the city dumpsters, and in effect getting away with not having to pay garbage. So the first step, at least in my mind logically, is that we have to write in something in an ordinance about trash that defines what illegal dumping is, so that we can start with remedies, whether it's writing a ticket or doing further investigation to stop the behavior from happening. And so I guess I want to kind of get perspective from others here if that would be a valuable ordinance for us to explore. Like I said, I'm happy to work on it and do it.
I'm in favor of that.
Sure, Bob.
So do we lock our own containers?
I think we have in the past sporadically, but I don't think we have a set policy
I
anywhere.
think that would cure a lot of it, wouldn't it, if we just, our people locked it after they dumped in?
Well,
Yeah, I mean,
I'm thinking about the commercial, big ones that they have. They need a bar, and who provides that bar? And
Lock.
the lock may be provided by the commercial owner, but the bar is what I'm worried about.
yeah. So I mean, I think some of that, I guess we'd probably have to find out from Jamie how many of their units have those things specifically available. I know some of them do, some of them don't. But I think ultimately we don't have even a mechanism for writing somebody a ticket right now, because it's not illegal in the city of Gilbert for anyone to just go up to a container and dump their garbage in it, which that's kind of a big miss on our part. So I think we should have something that says that is something you shouldn't be doing.
I think some of the commercials have just that small garbage can that doesn't lock.
Yeah.
You don't have the metal one that covers.
Right.
You just have a small one.
So I mean, it's not going to stop people completely from doing it, but there are some cases where I talked to one business owner where they found a package label that was addressed to somebody. That's evidence that somebody residentially dumped in their canister. So if there's any way of finding who an individual is that's using this, some business owners may have security cameras that they could provide as footage to say, here are these people that are doing it. So, but ultimately it's not going to stop the behavior of people doing it, but it at least gives us a starting point of like, okay, we can cite you for this if you're caught.
Is there also people just putting it alongside the dumpsters, not even in the dumpsters? City dumpsters, just putting it alongside?
That's possible. I don't.
You haven't heard of it?
I haven't heard of it.
Okay.
So.
Well, I think the ordinance says, well,
Yeah, and to enforce it, that's the problem.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you can't do anything if you don't have it
Yeah.
to begin with.
Yeah. I'd like to be able to try to enforce it.
Sure.
Well, in this case, if they found an address label, then you have proof.
Right.
Because isn't it littering if you do that? Isn't there a fine by?
I think some of the language that's in littering, I know that that's one of the things that Ty uses for when people blow snow into somebody else's yard. I think that's technically littering.
Yeah.
So, So there could be some language that we could borrow from that and to make this a little stronger. All right, so I will work on that. The second one is kind of what I promised to, and Lynn handed the full text of this out in the additional pieces that came out tonight, which is this was the ordinance to talk about establishing training requirements for the mayor and members of the council. And as I talked with the mayor before the meeting, this does not mean that it prohibits anybody from running from an office. It doesn't, like, you can still be on the council. It just establishes a baseline of here's the expectations that the council has for itself, so that everybody has, you know, kind of a base information on you know, open meeting law, the roles of the council in government.
After you get here.
After you get here, yes. And there would be a 6-month period, which with online courses or in-person seminars, there's ample time for each person to learn on their own speed, on their own pace. There's actually quite a bit of different topics that counselors could choose in. So if you have an interest in budgeting, or if you have an interest in zoning, or if you have, you could take any of the coursework that the league offers. It just helps to say, okay, you're gonna get some training. We agree to get some training. I think that makes the council, makes this body a stronger body.
This would be mandatory or voluntary?
It would be required. There is some non-compliance language that essentially says, if you don't do this, you aren't able to serve on a committee. You're still able to vote on things. So I think I encourage, I'm not going to introduce it at this meeting. I'd like to introduce the language at the next meeting. But what I would like is for everybody to take a look at this language and give me suggestions or questions so that we can have them before we introduce it in the next meeting. Yes.
I'm in favor of this, first of all, but we should have like the highlighted course names. Like, don't just take like a 10-minute course. Like, we have to have courses that we want them to know, because we want the basics covered, not just something like for budgeting.
Sure.
We would like them to take the courses that are relevant to the position.
Okay. I think rather than putting specific course names, because we're not in control of the league changing their titles of courses, I think
Sure.
maybe we identify topic areas. I think we could do that pretty easy, and like open meeting law, budgeting and forecasting, or just like core communicating with the public. I mean, they have a bunch of different core areas that they focus on. I think that would probably be more appropriate to be a little bit more broad.
Would they take another course?
Well, the way that this is worded is that each counselor would look for their own training to see what they would like, and in consultation with the clerk and the rest of the council, we would put together, you know, I would say, I would like, okay, I want to go and get half a day's worth of training or X number of hours of training in these areas, right? And I would put together based on what I find interesting, and then you would do the same for yourself, because each one of us is going to be slightly different, but some core things would be kind of universal for all of us. Open meeting law, role of government, those types of things would be kind of like everybody should do those. And then if you have a specialty area that you're interested in, you could add that in.
You said that
So
they wouldn't be able to vote on a subject if they didn't do
It
something.
could be on
after 6 months, if they don't receive, if they don't go to a a set of
Any
training, and again, this would be determined by the council. Like, maybe we all say that we have to have 4 hours of training, and it has to be on these topics. And each council would be able to choose this at the beginning of the council term.
Can I say something about that? You know, it's hard enough finding people to be on this council. And I think if you got somebody on the fence and they hear this, they're not getting paid for it, it's taking more of their time, I think they're gonna fall off that fence and say, I'm not gonna run for council. That's just my view on this. People aren't real willing to sign up for the council, and you're just putting another barrier in front of them. And that's my view. That's all I have to say.
I think there's some validity in that, Bob, I really do. because it is hard to get people to serve, but I think we also want to have some fairly high standards that, this is a serious job. We make serious decisions. We decide to spend $19 million on a water treatment plant. We decide to spend X amount for a salary for an individual.
And that's why people don't want to do this.
Right, but I think we need to do our best to give the whole body as much information as we can.
You can try.
What if we had the ordinance just flipped a little bit different, that City of Gilbert has to provide that to the council, and then the council people can voluntarily take that up, you know what I'm saying? Which will make sure that everybody who comes on council, that they're gonna be provided that by the City of Gilbert. And it's up to them then.
I think part of what you're saying is already implied, but I think we can make that more specific, because we already do pay for a League of Cities membership, which pays for all of that.
But we always have to okay that as a council. But here it would be set in stone. That Gilbert's providing that,
Yeah.
and then we decided we have to go. You don't have to even take it up at a meeting.
Yeah.
No.
Let me take, I think there's some way that we can word that in here. I think that would be.
Or maybe give some incentive for a counselor to jump in on it. But, like I say, it's provided, but it's not mandatory that it's provided.
Yeah.
So let's make it mandatory with an ordinance
Yeah.
that's provided.
So there are a couple of things that between our ordinances and our charter, that if a counselor needs to go to training, we could certainly put this in that if there's any fees that the city would pay for them. We have provisions in the code that if we need to travel to go to a seminar or something like that, we do have an established per diem. We do have established guidelines for transportation and hotels. So I think we could reference that in here, and I don't know if that's necessarily an incentive, but it does clarify that as individuals, we should not be out of pocket for doing this.
One of the things that I might mention is, Bobby mentioned that they might be on the fence. Some people might be on the fence because they don't know exactly what their role will be, and that having more education about it might push them the other way and say, oh, it's not just to jump in and you see how this works. It might be nice to have some training and say, oh, well, I can do it if somebody's going to teach me what I need to know.
Well, I'm leaning to it either way, but I think I'm trying to steer it a little bit more to not so much pushing it on somebody, but make it that we want you to do this. It would be helpful, and kind of like, yeah, make it mandatory, but slip it in somewhere.
Ideally, personally, what I want is for every person that's elected to this body to want to go through this training. Because it's an advantage, it's a benefit to doing our job.
And I don't know if clerks have budgeted for all that, I'm sure they have.
I don't think that much. I don't think it's that much money.
It's not mentioned that way, but it's got a different line item reading to it. Not miscellaneous, something else.
Right.
I didn't know this was part of our package as a counselor. I've been on there, I've looked at a couple things. So if I ever have questions, I can just fall back to this as like a resource. So that's good that incoming counselors know. If you have more questions, you can go here. There's a lot of stuff on there.
That's always been the case, that you could always go to Leave, I've gone to Leave many times for information.
Yep.
Yeah, but I think
That's always been available.
I believe that that's the thing though, is that everybody knows that, and it's good that you do, Bob, but like as Ryan, as a new council member, I mean, it's nice to have, these are options for you to find other answers, and if you're wondering about X, Y, or Z.
And I think one of the things that this does is, so when I was elected and former Councilor Horn were elected, we knew that this resource was there, and we actively wanted to go to one of their trainings. We were approved to go to the seminar and stuff like that. And I think that experience Having that contact, that helped me to know what are the roles, what are the responsibilities, how do you do things. And I knew some of that, but I certainly gained more information of how to be effective in doing that. And I think it's a tool to be able to, with any onboarding of any counselor or any mayor, it's a tool to be able to say, here's your starting point.
Will you get back to us on that?
Yep, I'll make some edits and then we'll introduce it at the next meeting.
Okay. Councilor Ponton?
Nothing tonight.
What's that?
I don't have anything tonight.
All right, I have something for council, but I see Brian's not here. I'm kind of concerned, council, with the garbage cans. I think people are, I'd like to have, discussion with Jamie about, people are not understanding what these cans are for. Should you put garbage, stencil garbage on these cans? I don't, they say East Range sanitation, but they don't think that there's something they can use. Something new and they're not familiar. I think it's stenciling of garbage on there. Plus, if you look on this, the ends, I have my COD kick in, OCD kick in, and I put some end pieces on these things. Somebody coming out of a fire hall could have walked right into that thing in the middle of the night, not see that arm.
What, do you want reflectors on them or something?
I don't know what it will take, but I put tennis balls on the ones up there. Whose liability, I was gonna ask Brian, whose liability is it if something did happen to somebody? Ours or yours? That's all I wanna know, whose liability, and if it's ours, then I think we gotta do something. And not us take that on, but make it happen. So, but Brian is not here to answer that. Whose liability is that? In the middle of the night, walking around this town, in the alley, and you're gonna have a headache walking in this.
So I'm not a lawyer, but I know enough from liability claims that the liability generally goes to the property owner. So when you're talking specifically about the canister, that is not owned by the city, that is owned by East Mesabi Sanitation. So if there is an incident with that property, they must be the ones that are covered for liability for that property. So just like a car, just like anything else.
Makes sense.
Well, I hope that's the case, and then I also hope we can fix the problem. I don't want anybody any pain or a serious injury when they do it. If there's something that can be done. If I could get Jamie at a meeting with him, is there something that he can do to make sure somebody doesn't get seriously injured? Can we be human about this thing, or, That's what I'm asking now. And I was gonna talk to Sam, but I'm all in favor for, I drove down by Council Red Pig area down there, that has to be fixed down there, it's terrible. And, these two trees right behind me by the bank here need to be trimmed. I don't know if I believe the city owns them trees. But they have to be trimmed, somebody's gonna get hurt there. And I want that relayed to Sam, okay? But as a priority.
They were trimming trees this last week, so I don't know that they're done or not, but.
Okay. Otherwise, I don't know, I think I'm just moving right along. I think Matt's gonna give us some information here a little bit here. Because guess what, Matt, you're up. Thank you for coming.
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
What am I up for? City engineer?
There's a report, the city engineer, 6D.
I don't have anything to report other than what's on the agenda. But I will be happy to take any questions that you might
What's
have.
on the agenda? What's on the agenda for you? We don't have. What's on-
Under new business, SEH manhole.
Manhole project, If you guys want an update.
Talk about that manhole project now, okay?
Okay. We, there we go. So we opened bids for the manhole project, and we actually got three bids, 2 very favorable bids, 1 very favorable bid. I believe the bid tab is in your packet. And no, okay, I have access to it if you want it. The low bidder was 2EZ Construction, and in the amount of $1,063,000. I can get you the actual amount.
It was very low.
Yeah, we've got plenty of grant money. We've got the 3 different grant sources. We've got the MPCA, we've got IRRR, and we have CDBG, all in grant, matching each other. And we have an excess right now of grant money. So that's good news. We just have to figure out, figure out what we're gonna do about spending it. So, and Sam and I have talked about a couple different ideas for some different things. So we'll be having a few more conversations about that, and we'll get back to the council on that with what we were thinking. So, you look like you wanted to ask me a question.
Well, I know we had that meeting, that $1 million from the IRRB, is that for the manhole?
Yeah.
That was they needed to shuttle away the project, so that's what we got.
Yep. And we have about $350,000 still left after this bid. I mean, there could be some changes, obviously, during the project. We got the contingency built into it still, but we've got a couple other things I know that really Sam's been itching to get done. So again, we'll talk about it and bring it back to the council.
Do those projects have to be city work or manhole work or?
Well, that's what I need to clarify. The way the grant agreement reads, it says citywide infrastructure improvements.
Infrastructure.
So I believe the way it's worded, I have to get confirmation from the IRRR, but I believe the way it's worded.
You're talking about the $1 million one.
The $1 million.
What about the CTPD one and the other ones?
Those ones we will pay, those we have, will be used in full on the project.
On the manhole
On the
project?
manhole project. That's what those
Besides
are
the $1 million?
Hmm?
Yes.
Besides the $1 million?
Besides the $1 million, yeah. That's what those 2 grant sources, the $500,000 from the MPCA and the $100,000 from CDBG, those were specifically for the manhole project. So we will use those funds, and we'll use whatever IRRB funds that we need out of that. And then we have some other infrastructure work that we can finish off the IRRB grant with. We'll do it as a separate project, but I need to get confirmation from IRRR before we start moving down that path.
You can use it for something else.
Yeah. So, the action that I probably need, I'm assuming you're gonna wanna wait till the item, but either way, the action that we'll look for from the council from tonight is just award the project, and then we can move it ahead, and it should start this fall sometime, hopefully in September.
One of the things I asked when we found out that we got the grant, and I know that we're kind of still defining it, but from a public transparency, public relations perspective, if we're going to be spending $1 million, we should have some sort of summary to the public of what that's going to be spent on. Just, I mean, call me crazy, but like, if we're spending that kind of money, at some point in time, we need to be able to say, this is where the money is going to go.
Well, plans and specifications are available if they'd like to see them. That shows everything that we're doing. Is that what you mean?
I'm talking about something that's specifically a digestible document for the public.
Yep,
Because it's very public that we received $1 million grant.
yep.
And I've had at least half a dozen people questioning me about what are you spending this money on.
Yeah.
We need to be able to describe, here's the scope of the work, here's what's going to happen, and here's what a timeline is. Doesn't need to be much, but it should be at least 1 page to be able to describe to the public, what are we spending $1 million on? Pretty simple.
Wasn't it in the IRRB award? It says this is what we're doing.
It just said citywide infrastructure.
I think it should be online. Is all. If you look at other cities, they post everything online, what they're doing.
Right, but I haven't been able to access any kind of document. I'm
No,
one of the
no,
five
I'm saying
supposed
it
to be
should-
making decisions.
It should be online.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
we owe the public that as a basic minimum, that if we're gonna spend that kind of money that's gonna come from a grant, we should tell the public what we're spending it on.
Sure.
You know, oh, hey, you're gonna see these 26 manholes dug up. I mean, whatever it is.
Should we do that for every project?
Should be.
We should, yeah, I mean,
Well, that's what
literally.
I'm asking.
Yeah, I mean, if
Should it
we're,
be
if
something we
we're,
do?
if we're doing a major capital project, we should be able to have a quick summary document for the public to say, this project costs X amount of money. The timeline is gonna be from this time to this time. Here's the scope of the work.
Do you want this to be at a certain minimum if we spend more than 25,000 or more than 50,000 or, I mean, because if we do every project and it's we're putting a roof on and it's $4,000, I mean, so.
I mean, I would say this would be major project, and I'd say, $500,000 is a major project.
Is that going on the webpage?
Good?
Are you talking about posting it in the paper and paying for it?
I mean, I don't think we have to
We can put it
necessarily.
on our website.
There's no legal regulation as to where we can post it. We can post it on our website.
There should be a separate.
But it should be accessible.
Projects.
It's one of those things that it's just, if the state of Minnesota is doing a project, and I don't know what their threshold is, but if they're doing a major project, there's a process in which they disclose what the project is. And I think it's just a good practice that if we're spending citizens' money in any way, but it doesn't matter what source it comes from, if it comes from IRRR, if it comes from city levy or whatever, if we're spending money and it's a major project, we should disclose that to the public.
Okay, I think we're in agreement with that, so should we just put it on, make sure that it goes on the webpage? And we should have a separate webpage for,
Not a separate one. What?
it could say some projects, grant projects, or whatever it is. Or is it just-
It could be a link to a PDF.
That's fine.
Yeah.
The reason I'm asking all these questions is I would have to get a form together so that it's the same thing every time, and it would have a job
Exactly.
description, and it would say, this is
Yep.
the money, this is where it came from, this is what we're gonna do.
Yep.
So that was my question about why,
Yeah,
what was the,
I would title it capital improvement project.
Yep.
Capital improvement project. Are we taking approving bids right now?
no, we're just talking about, well, it will,
That is the ultimate.
yes.
Yeah, we do have to approve.
I mean,
Yes.
I mean, that's a suggestion, does it need a motion to make sure it goes on the webpage, or do you just do it, or?
I don't know.
You can give a directive, but the council with a consensus here doesn't have to make a.
Yeah. I guess, Lynn, if you could just make that our practice moving forward,
Right.
that would be just a really good way of disclosing to the public.
I don't know what we're talking about, but I don't feel it.
Anything else, Matt?
Not on that.
Okay.
You want me to talk about the community center quick?
Yeah.
An update on that, I see that's under old business.
Yeah.
So right now, we're in a bit of a holding pattern because we had to, because of that change with the water service line, we had to submit to the Department of Labor and Industry, to the state inspector, I guess is what I should say. We thought we'd be able to handle it locally, but long story short, without getting into a bunch of the weeds on it, it's sitting at the state, waiting for the state inspector, the state to review the plans, and then we can get them going again. So they've got most of the work done. They're just kind of waiting on that last bit of work that they can't, some of the work that they need to do with this water service connection needs to get done first.
That doesn't.
They can't do that until we get the,
So they can do the air conditioning, et cetera.
so the air conditioning is part of it that has to hold off until
Water
until they get that fixed, yes. I understand that they were working on getting the window units put back in. Did that happen yet?
I don't know.
So my understanding was, I don't remember the conversation at the pre-construction meeting, but I was talking with the architect and he remembered bringing up, don't take out the air conditioning units until everything is up and operational on the other one. That said, no blame on anybody. It just was one of those things where they thought, hey, low-hanging fruit, we'll get that out, keep moving. Well, now it's drug out a little bit longer than they expected it to for reasons beyond the contractor's fault. So now they're gonna try to get those put back in, so at least there's some dehumidification.
Is that one of the last projects we're working on now, the air conditioning and water?
Yeah, most of the rest of it's done, so they're getting there.
How are we in terms of the timeline? I know that the project timeline had some specifics as far as when the money had to be spent.
Yep. We're good on the money side of it as far as deadlines for spending the grant money. Technically, the contract and substantial completion, I think, is the end of this week. But this was an unforeseen, no fault of theirs. We can certainly grant the contractor an extension to allow them to get that.
And that will still fall within IRR's guidelines for granting the money.
Yes, correct. Yep.
And I don't want to be in a situation where they're not going to pay out for, you know.
That grant, I think, has to be spent by October of this year, I believe. Is that right, Lynn? Do you know for sure?
I'm sorry.
The grant for the community center, is that October of this year?
I was gonna say, I thought it was October.
It's either October or December of this year, so we got time. Yeah.
Okay, I do have an update from Sam on that. They did not put the AC units in the windows, but BP Builders bought some temp AC units
Oh,
and put those in.
better yet. And then don't have to redo the windows again, so.
Right.
Okay, so good. So there's some cooling going on in there and
Yep.
dehumidification. Books and humidity don't really,
Either people and humidity. Not this people anyway.
So that's kind of the update. They're getting close.
Okay, a question for you, Matt. Do you have an idea of how much the overrun is gonna be, an estimate?
I sent a summary to, I can pull it up and send it again, right after our last meeting. Because you guys asked me that question.
Yeah.
So if I can, what do I do with that? I'll find it. And I have a summary of where we're at right now that I can get to you guys.
But do you also, in addition to that, where we're at right now, what the expected extra costs are gonna be after the inspection is, finished?
So right now, I found my email that I sent. Right now, it looks like we are about at $1,087,736, so about $87,736 over the $1 million, or as of right now. And that, the asbestos allotment, I looked into that, that was just about all spent for the work, and the electrical power, I have not got a final number on that. We had a $50,000 allowance on that. I have not gotten a final number on that yet. But I assumed it in that calculation, I assumed it was all spent, just for the sake of worst case scenario.
So we're short 87,000.
87,000 over.
Depending on what the remainder of the work that has to be done here.
Yeah.
So
the work
could be
itself-
another 87,000?
No,
Besides?
that $1,087,000, that includes the work left to do.
If, the inspection says you're good to go,
Yeah.
then it's only gonna be 87, or is it gonna be additional money? If the
No, if the
inspection
inspection says it's good to go,
that.
that included that change order, that number includes that change order.
Oh, so it's in that 87, okay. All right.
Is that with the engineering costs too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not great news, but, it's $1 million worth of HVAC and bathroom for $87,000 that we have to spend, so.
So we gotta put that in the budget.
Right, we gotta find where to get
So
it.
we need to, you email that to us, or?
Sure. I'll send it to Lynn and then she can disperse it to you guys. Anything else on that?
So we're not doing no bids on the
We did.
project?
The what?
Well, can you bid? Did you make a motion to make a?
Well, he can't make a motion, but you guys do.
You all
He
make
can't
it?
make the motion, but you guys
I
can.
mean, did you tell us?
Yes.
Yeah, do you have the other bids and stuff?
Yeah,
Do we have paperwork in front of us so we can see what the bid was and and the other bids? I mean, normally that's how it's done.
It was-
You supply us with a bid, the winning.
My apologies.
Bidder.
It's been a little bit chaotic, so I failed to print it.
And you can do that under your business here.
I would say, I mean, there's not necessarily a rush to get this approved, right?
We have a timeline to get this done, right?
What's that?
Spend the money for this project?
Yeah, the manhole project, we have a milestone date set in the contract for them to get a certain portion of it done by the end of October. So that then we can spend down as much, it was supposed to have been all, but now we got the lower bid, we're gonna have to carry it into the spring a little bit, but spend down most of the MPCA grant, because that is due to be spent by the end of June of 2027.
So put another way, can we get this paper bid that we're gonna be motioning to either approve or not, can we get this on the next agenda without affecting the timeline?
Is that soon enough, Matt, or should I print it out?
You need the approval tonight, Matt?
You need it tonight or next meeting?
If you could approve it tonight, it would be
Yeah.
really good, because then we can tell the contractor they can start doing shop drawings and get that.
That's why it's just nice to see it on paper when you
Yeah.
make these kind of.
I'm not ready to approve anything unless I have a chance to read it.
Absolutely, and I can print it and then provide it to you right now.
Yeah, that's what I would like to, yes, yeah. Somebody print it.
Okay,
Can that be moved to the meeting on the 4th?
No, no, it's tonight.
Okay, oh,
So I'd say if we can get that printed before we hit the new business, we can bring that up again in new business then.
Matt,
Tonight, yeah.
I think Bob was right. I think we can move this to the meeting of the 4th.
He wants it,
Yeah, you'd like it tonight.
Matt,
that
is
one's
August 4th too much away? August, next Monday?
next Tuesday.
Sorry, I'm trying to get this sent to Lynn, okay, there.
Oh, are you
What were you
talking-
asking, I'm
Can we
sorry?
do this part next Monday?
Tuesday.
Tuesday, August 4th.
Tuesday, next Tuesday,
Yeah.
a week from
Because we have a
today.
budget meeting.
Oh, yeah, you could. If,
Okay.
yep, you can. We can, I mean, I'll just tell the contractor to keep working
Yeah.
cautiously just in case, but
Anything that's a contract like this, I mean, I would prefer to have at least a couple hours to go through the contract.
Yep.
I mean, this is not something I like to decide on the fly.
so okay, never mind.
We can do it
It's not
next
a-
Tuesday, okay?
Yeah, yep, that'll work.
Place that on our budget, our special meeting on August 4th. Because we have a letter, we have to okay the judges that night too. So we have to have a special meeting called, so we can take action,
Right.
right?
My apologies, Matt, for not providing.
That's okay,
All right,
no problem.
You have to make a motion.
Are those gonna be emailed to us then?
No, I'm
I'm
printing
gonna
and
print
giving
it
it
off
before you
right
leave.
now and give it to you guys as soon as it gets
Okay,
to me.
Yeah,
So we have this like properly done. I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion that we adopt or that we change our agenda for the August 4th meeting to include budget, election judges, and the SEH manhole project,
awarding the bids.
awarding bids.
If you're gonna make a motion, that's fine, anyway.
Second.
Councilor Skirvik, support by Councilor Potocnik. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. And if there's anything else between here and tomorrow, I'll put it off. Okay? And I'm not gonna get into anything else in here, I don't care. But I will talk to you tomorrow or something.
We got some good news, so yeah.
Huh?
We got some good news, so.
We talked about it at the working session.
What's
The
that?
PFA,
Oh, you guys talking about it at the working session?
yeah.
About the PFA maybe being able to come through?
What's that? The whole thing?
No, with, to pay the bond.
To pay the bond.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
pay that one loan, the first loan.
We were not happy with Lakehead.
683.
giving us bid.
Yeah.
Can't do that.
The bid?
But we still have to pay them back.
We can talk to them.
633.
Yeah.
What,
That's gotta be
693?
done.
Pardon?
No, that's part
That's
of
gotta be a
the
change
bid.
order.
Oh, it's part of it.
Appropriated.
It will,
It's not
yeah.
a loan.
No.
Not the way it was put to us before, it was, okay. Anyway,
Can you send that stuff to me on my Gmail? I don't look at it, Gilbert. I mean, you used to be
I'm
sending
gonna
it to
print
me.
it right
She's
now.
gonna
for you.
hand it to you.
No, but I mean, other stuff like the agenda, I was in cities and I didn't see the agenda had come on at the envelope, because it went to. that other-
okay, anybody else got anything
Mine's on
else,
Gmail.
else for Matt? Nothing else
I
for
can't
Matt?
send it to Bob. Bob, did you see that? I could send you the agenda in the packet in the email.
Why?
It won't go. I sent an email back twice. I tried to send it and it won't let me. Your email won't accept it or it
It's
won't.
not connected. Sorry.
All right, we have nothing else for Matt, he's excused, then. All right, Matt. I see nobody else here. Lynn, you're next.
All right. Again, if you can give me this League of Minnesota Cities workshop sheet back so that I can make those arrangements and set that up. We did get a bill from 3D Concrete for the curb behind Northland Small Engine. And the total for labor was $7,875. You all approved up to $8,000. So, we made that we made that payment. Let's see,
Are they gonna fill the rest with tar soon or blacktop?
what is?
Because there's the curb and then there's black and they got the hole cut, so it doesn't hit the curb yet because it's falling in the hole. They cut the blacktop this wide, the curb is this wide. So there's, between the blacktop and the curb, there's a trench.
They cut it or it was like that already?
No, they cut it, so they could get,
You know, I don't know. I'd have to ask them.
well, no, I'm talking about, we're supposed to fill the rest of the, or if the city could just get some cold mix or whatever they put in that,
Yeah,
so the water doesn't undermine that curb or keep washing out.
I think Sam's gonna be doing that with, Wasabi, with the rest of the work you gotta do here.
That'd
And
be
sooner
fine.
the better. It doesn't wash out, you can
The
get
problem, yeah.
it'll cause lots of damage.
Yeah.
We did talk to Masabi bit and they said they were really busy. It would be later in July or beginning of August when they did other things, so.
Well, they're gonna do that, they just won't show it off the truck and just, it's only a crack this
Oh,
wide,
so it's gonna be done by our.
This way or this way?
this way.
It'll be done by
Cut
our.
is this wide, the curb takes up this much, there's that much left, so the water's coming down and hitting that before it goes in.
Okay.
For washing.
Because when you said they cut it this wide, I was thinking that was how wide the hole was.
No, it's only about like that.
Okay, all right, makes a difference, all right. Let me see what else I have on my list here. You already talked about the next meeting, changing it, I have that on here. I have in your packet a contract for Abdo to continue doing payroll. Apparently this contract expired in June, and, so for us to have them continue to do payroll, I need to have a motion to approve it and, then sign it.
And we can eventually go to people, do our own thing.
Right now, I can't, I don't have the bandwidth to do it right now.
How long is this contract? Is it per year or is it?
I believe it's a year. I haven't had a chance to look over the actual term because,
I guess, if it is for a term of a year, do we have the opportunity to opt out early if we're able to, bring this in-house like we've talked?
this is the one. I don't know the answer to that, if we can terminate the contract early. They are aware that we want to bring payroll back in. As far as a year term, I don't know that that's unrealistic that I feel like it's unrealistic to think that we have it back in-house within a year.
Okay,
as far
so
as
we do have the right to terminate this within 60 days.
Within 60 days?
Yeah.
60 days of the signing of the contract, but not 60 days anytime. 60 days anytime? if no with notification.
Client may terminate this agreement upon 60 days written notice, and in the event the client determines in its sole discretion that it is not in the client's best interest to continue using the contractor's services.
Intent.
Yep,
Just with a 60-day notice.
yep.
There you go.
As long as we can get out of it, I'm fine.
We have to do that now,
What do you mean you have to do it now?
today?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's expired the June 30th already.
We need them to continue doing payroll. So, I'll go ahead and make the motion to approve the Abdo contract for payroll.
Second.
Moved by Councilor Skrillex, supported by Councilor Toshnik to approve the Abdo extension contract or a contract, continue on another year at least, or more or less. Any more discussion on this? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
All right, Trudy has asked me to get your permission so that she can go to the American Water Works Association annual conference in Duluth. The total cost should be about $480. She goes to this conference.
So move.
Second.
Moved by Councilor Toshnik, supported by Councilor Skrillex. Any more discussion on that request by Trudy? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
All right, the other business that I have is on the agenda, so.
Did we want to talk about that roll-off?
Oh, okay. Minnesota Four-Wheel Drive Association does a cleanup of the trail, and they will pay for a dumpster from East Nasabi. But last year it was overflowing with trash that they picked up and other stuff. Paul says they found a boat last year, so that didn't go in the trash, but they are looking to have 2 dumpsters this year, and they were looking to have the city pay for one and they pay for the other one. I don't know the cost, but we could say that we would pay up to a certain dollar amount for the dumpster.
Who is this?
Last year they paid just under $600 for the one dumpster. So, and they have it in their budget to pay for one of them, but they suspect based on the number of people that are coming up this weekend and the amount of garbage that they found historically, they're going to need 2 dumpsters. So it's basically, they're doing free labor for us, cleaning up the trails. They actually have kind of a little bit of a contest to each person that brings stuff, they get points essentially to encourage them to pick up stuff. And they pick up, tires and coolers and bags of garbage that they find out on all the trails. So.
Does that include the trail behind Ryan and Tom?
Yep, absolutely. That's part of it. I'm sure there's quite a bit.
Let's go for it. So I recommend we go ahead. Somebody make a motion?
With the dollar amount?
Yeah,
Up to 600, I think would be fine.
just match what they're doing.
Yep.
I'll make a motion to match with an offer which was willing to contribute for our garbage can.
I'll second.
Moved by Councilor Reddick, supported by Councilor Skrillex to approve the match of second container dumpster for the upcoming event this weekend, right?
Yep.
Campground. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
Okay, I think that's it. Paul, there's something else I forgot.
I got a question though.
Yeah.
On the sheet that you gave us, can you at the next council check off the things that are done?
Yes.
So,
I will try and get that taken care of for you.
and I assume they'll have another sheet then ready for the next.
Yes,
Okay.
we have the election and budget and all this other stuff, so that's,
Well, Sam does these sheets,
no, Sam does not, I do.
but these are Sam's projects.
I did the sheet. And that's a discussion that Sam and I have, so I did the sheet.
Yeah, they talked together on that. You should read it up. That's what they're supposed to be doing. The department heads getting together and communication. All right, you have nothing else?
I don't have anything right now. Just what's on your agenda.
All right. Old business check register is 720 to 724.
I'll make a motion to approve the check register from 720 to 724, 2026.
I'll second.
Motion by Councilor Redpath, supported by Councilor Skirvich to approve the check registers from 720 to 724, 2026. Any more discussion on that?
I got a question for Matt. Boat landing? I
Matt?
got a question for Matt. Boat landing? What's the deal on the boat landing? I mean, are we moving ahead on the boat landing?
Boat landing, yeah, so currently we have Masabi Matumas under contract to do some upgrades to the Enterprise Trail. That's in the works. In fact, Sam and I just met with them Friday, I think, last week to talk about a couple of culverts, and they're gonna get going on that here in the not too distant future. We're just about done with the plans and specs for the access road that goes down to the proposed boat landing.
That's the old toll road, right, for the...
Yeah.
Do they know how far down it goes or how wide it is?
Not off the top of my head.
You think that the width is going to narrow as it goes down any, or? One of my concerns was, I know you're going to put those cement slabs there so people can land. And every year you're going to have to add them because it's not going up.
Right.
Keeps going down.
The boat, yeah, so the boat landing itself, when we get to the point of constructing the public access, we'll obviously take into account at the time where the
Water level?
water level is. And there is an old haul road. We've got topographic survey, underwater topographic survey. We had our surveyors come on to a survey. And it goes down quite a ways. So as the level keeps dropping, we just
Do you think
keep
that
on the road.
things,
Yeah.
a recurring cost for the city to add cement things?
Potentially, if you have to continue to add concrete planks or whatever, the DNR supplies a lot of those for you, so.
Is the width of the road stay the same? What I'm saying is,
Should.
the one we had here, people just backed up there.
I'd imagine once you get down.
I don't want somebody to go
Good
try to run alongside where, just leave their car there. And the farther down you go, the more they've got to get all the way out to park somewhere, and then you got to walk all the way back if there's somebody else. I don't want them to park.
Yeah, you're pretty much there where you're not gonna park alongside the landing itself right now. If it does start to go down and you have to follow that road down a little bit farther, you're gonna have to come
Is the
off.
width of the road going to stay about the same?
As far as we can tell.
You don't have to add cement pillars on the side to make sure nobody falls off the...
Well, as far as we can tell right now, that's what the best information we have. It's underwater, so, but it appears that it stays pretty consistent for a ways down.
All right.
Any more on the time sheet? Register. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Motion carries unanimously. Okay, time sheet for employees, 7/5 to 7/18. Objections or to that, or if not, motion to accept.
Do we know, is Kai still down
Yes.
3? Yes, 3? 2? 4?
He did just have a temporary start the end of last week, or was it the beginning? I don't know, last week sometime, a part-time person who came out of, who's retired, that's working, his name is Aaron Johnson.
And then a few more.
Is that who comes up for 4th of July? Is it the same guy?
No,
No?
no, he was a police officer at UMT.
Okay.
for years, so
He was a police officer in Gilbert many years.
many, many years ago, but his career was basically at
They
UMD.
moved-
We met him last Thursday, I think it was.
Under Mark Skelton's chief tenure. And then he went to Duluth for more money and different places in Duluth. And now he's retired. And he lives in Two Harbors and he's coming back and forth from Two Harbors here.
I'll make a motion to approve the timesheets for employees for 7/5 through 7/18/2026.
I'll second that.
Moved by motion by Council Reddick, supported by Council Skirvik to approve the time sheets for employees from 7/5 to 7/18/2026. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. We all done with the community center project updates?
Yes.
All right. Next we have hiring a city clerk. We've went out for applications, we've had interviews. I had some committee, another 4 people on the committee that were non-voting members. 3 of them reached out to me after reviewing all these here. I'll tell the council that they have nothing to against either application, except I'm really worried that about the many different jobs, and maybe hopefully that both these applicants would be a lot more longevity for serving the city of Gilbert. And that's something that we can have control over. But that was one of their concerns. And the 4th person did not get back to me yet, so otherwise there was nothing they could give us that would be in favor or opposed to any one of the applicants. And I'll share that with the council here on that. So we had the applications, we had the interviews, and I think I'm in favor of going ahead and entertaining motion, or I can make the motion, stepping out the chair, that I wish to extend the hiring of the clerk into contract negotiations after if the vote is successful in hiring Lynn Laurie as the new city clerk.
I'll second.
Mayor stepped out the chair, made a motion to hire Lynn Laurie, the current interim city clerk treasurer, for the position of city clerk. The motion has been seconded by Councilor Skirvik. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, I think, I wish we had about 10 or 15. I'm not happy with people did not, I don't know what's going on out here in the job market. But, we had 2 good applicants and it was very hard. One of them is here tonight too, is another one. It was very hard looking at, they were well versed in their positions as their last position, and they answered a lot of questions correctly. There's a couple that questioned about concerned me a little bit, a couple of them, but I'm very happy with my selection of Ms. Lori, and I hope the other applicant finds a job that she deserves as well.
Any more discussion?
So I think my thoughts on the process is, I agree with you, I would have liked to see more applicants, but can't make somebody apply for a job. So I think we have invested a lot of time and a lot of effort in Lynn, and kudos to you. You've been kind of baptized by fire in some very unusual circumstances. And there's been a learning curve. What I would like to see, if the council does move forward, and this was one of the things that the recruiter option would have included, I would encourage that the council come up with some benchmarks for Lynn's tenure of things that we would like to have accomplished in terms of a training path. I think we owe that to her. We have a lot of demands on a regular basis, setting priorities and things like that. I think we should come up with a here's the path forward for the next year.
I agree, but we gotta get the board.
Sure. So that I'm just expressing that, if we do move forward with that, I think we need to also consider that we need to move forward with the training plan as well.
Any person,
Yeah.
one of these that wins this.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I agree.
either one,
I
right?
agree. So, but I don't see any compelling reason for us to switch gears at this point from how we've been proceeding.
Any more discussion? I'll call for a roll call vote. Councilor Patton.
No.
Councilor Redpain.
Yes.
Councilor Skirvin.
Yes.
Mayor Rostar.
Yes.
No. Motion carries to offer the job to Lynn Laurie for the clerk position, and we'll have a discussion on with her for,
You gotta say who's yes and who's no.
okay, no vote was Councilor Patton, yes vote was Councilor Redpain, yes vote was Mayor Overstar, yes vote was Councilor Skirvin, no vote was Councilor Potocnik.
All right. Thank you.
Mayor, chair goes back to the mayor.
Thank you. All right, congratulations, Lynn, and thank you, Nancy, for applying for the job, and I wish you the best in your next position somewhere. Maybe some more openings here, yeah, who knows, I don't know. See. But thank you for applying, and it was a good interview, and I'm
You're
sorry that we picked somebody else, all right?
That's okay. I am incredibly impressed with Lynn, and we had a short discussion, and hopefully I helped her out a little bit with one of the issues you've got, so.
Well, I hope that continues. Okay? Thank you. And then we will immediately get into contract negotiations with you. If you're ready, we can slip that in tomorrow into your fourth meeting, July 8th, August 4th. Get that out of the way as soon as possible so we can have a start date and release you from the interim position. Once we get a contract awarded, I mean, that's another step that still got to be made up, okay? All right. I'm gonna, also can make that motion too to add that onto that today if you want.
To the budget meeting, the one on the 4th?
Yes.
Okay. I'll make the motion to add, that one I believe does have to be a closed session because we're specifically talking about contract terms and personnel. So we have to add a closed session to the August 4th
I
meeting.
think we've done that before with other gentlemen. Yeah. Well, we'll put it on the agenda for closing session, and then Brian, we don't need, can't do it, we just won't do it. It'll be what, it's on the agenda, okay?
Second.
Moved by Councilor Skirvin, supported by Councilor Potocnik to add, at the end of the meeting next week, August 4th, a closed session for contract negotiations with the selected winner candidate for the city clerk job in Gilbert, all right? Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. As long as we're all here, might as well do it here, instead of me
Good.
Again, congratulations, we move on to reconvene this, recess this meeting right now.
We have something on our business here. Sam's Wings.
The variance.
Very interesting.
That's what it is.
Yep.
We'll recess this meeting for a variance meeting, all right? Somebody want a motion to recess?
I'll motion to recess.
Moved by Councilor Sturgis, supported by
Second.
Councilor Togic to recess this regular meeting at 7:30. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Now we move into variance hearing for Sam Lonergan's variance. Let the, then take a roll call. This is like another separate meeting.
Counselor Rotashnik,
Present.
Counselor Skrillex,
Here.
Mayor Oberstar,
Here.
Counselor Reddepenny,
Here.
Counselor Patton.
All right, it's 7:31. We're having a variance hearing. Clerk, can you have read the variance request?
Okay. Sam Lotiger is requesting a variance at his address. You don't need his address, or you know, or do you need that on
Dress?
his address?
Yes. Yes.
7328 Highway 97 in Evelyn. He's requesting a variance for a total height of 17 feet 6 inches.
Wait a minute. That's the mailing address. He's in the city of limits of Gilbert. Yes. I want to make that clear.
His address. My address is also at.
Yes, but he's still
Which one?
resident of the city of Gilbert. Yes. I want to make that clear to the people on TV and that. That's the postal address for his address. But he's in the city of Gilbert.
That's where his mail is delivered.
Yeah, that's where the mail gets delivered.
That handles our mail.
Yeah, correct.
Gilbert refused to.
But he's still a city of Gilbert resident.
Okay.
That's why, if you look at it, we're not gonna have a hearing here.
Okay. So he's requesting a variance for a total height of 17 feet 6 inches. He's trying to get a variance for 8-foot garage doors and just do standard energy truss heels. You want me to read the backside too? No, not in.
You don't read everything, because nobody's here, but you're probably watching on TV, yeah.
Okay. The property owner proposes to use the property in a reasonable manner not permitted by the zoning ordinance. List evidence below. Yes, I'm trying to build a garage with 10-foot sidewalls and a standard energy heel truss. And I'm over the 15-foot limit by 2 feet 6 inches. The plight of the landowner is due to circumstances unique to the property not created by the landowner. This evidence below. List this evidence below. I need a garage with 8-foot garage doors and need is to 20 inches above them for mounting hardware. So that is why the 10-foot sidewall with the 10.7 energy heel and the gable end. It'll put him over 15 feet. The variance is granted will not alter essential character of the locality. List evidence below. My house and property is not visible from the road. My house peak alone is 17 feet and will be close to match.
All right, hearing all that, and everybody neighboring to him has
They've been notified of the hearing.
notified of this hearing tonight as well? All right, does anybody in the audience here that had that letter object to this variance if granted by the city of Gilbert? I don't see anybody coming forward. So what's the council wish to do now?
I guess I brought this up before when we talked about his building permit. This is just an example of unfortunately, our ordinances lagging the basic building packages at places like Menards and stuff like that, where the standard height of a garage for their garage packages is, 2 feet above our limit. And so this is an example of how we need to take the step of amending our zoning ordinances so that we are up to date with standard, construction packages.
Yeah, and so.
And so I see there's no
Have these
reason.
variances coming in both
Yeah,
for us.
there's no reason why we shouldn't approve this. It's not viewable from the highway. It doesn't bother anybody. So
There's no objection. And like after this, we do have to add this to our list of ordinances that need to be changed. So we don't have all these variances. We need to make some modifications.
Is that ordinance gonna say 17 feet 6? Because I think at the last meeting it was 16 feet 3 or 16 feet 5.
Again,
it's gonna be whatever we say it is.
I know.
well, we have to look at, you said what they're selling today. What's the normal sell?
I think that's
Regular
where-
normal garage.
That's where Jason Hale will be able to help us in putting into better wording that's going to be more flexible for, as things change. I don't know what the answer is for how we change that ordinance, but I think Jason would have some really good input as to how we would move forward.
Well, it has to be changed at least 1 foot anyway, but maybe more, okay? We have to look into it.
There's a lot of variances.
Somebody make a motion to approve this variance request?
I'll go ahead and make the motion to approve the variance request for Sam Lotiger at 7328 Highway 97 Evelyn for building a garage. Gilbert resident, Evelyn mailing address.
Somebody want to second that? I'll second that. Motion by Councilor Skirvich, second by the mayor to approve this variance. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Both say nay. I didn't get an answer. I have a roll call vote. Councilor Fontaine.
Yes.
Councilor Redpenning.
Yes.
Mayor Oster, yes. Councilor Skirvich.
Yes.
Councilor Furtache.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Right? I didn't hear too many yeas and nays on that. So this request is no other business. We can move to adjourn this variance hearing.
Go ahead and move to adjourn the variance hearing.
Motion by Councilor Skirvich, supported by Councilor Furtache to adjourn this variance hearing for Sam Lotiger at 7:37. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. All right, I reconvene the regular city council meeting of July 28, 2026, 7:38. Let the record show, again, go ahead, we'll make a roll call.
You'll make, okay. Councilor Furtache?
Present.
Councilor Skirvich?
Present.
Mayor Oster?
Here.
Councilor Redpenning?
Here.
Councilor Cotton?
All right, continue on with new business. Manhole project, we went through that, correct?
Yep.
Resolution 2020. Okay. 2026-19, Minnesota Deepers extended Wasabi Minnesota Trail. What's,
This is the one that we talked about last time.
There's no liability to the city
No.
to this. The only thing that this does is since we're the fiscal agent for the grant, they had a checkbox on the form that said that they needed a resolution from the city council.
And also should be noted, this has nothing to do with coming into town
Right.
via any of the streets or avenues, right?
Right. No, it's just a 0.2 mile extension.
Yeah, it's fully contained with within the state of Minnesota property.
Otherwise, I don't see no problem with it. Also, anybody else? So I recommend we go ahead and approve this resolution.
I'll make a motion to go ahead and approve the resolution 2026-19 for Minnesota Jeepers to extend the Mesabi Mountain Trail.
Where second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilor Reddick. Motion by Councilor Skirvik, supported by Councilor Reddick to approve resolution number 2026-19. I will read it after the vote. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries unanimously. 5-0. City of Gilbert, resolution number 2026-19, a resolution supporting the application for the Minnesota Jeepers with the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources to extend the Mesabi Mountain Trail. Be resolved by the City of Gilbert, whereas the Northern Minnesota Jeepers wishes to extend the Minnesota Mountain Trail, whereas the trail extension is entirely on state-owned land. Be resolved, the council approves the application of said trail extension with the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources. As a part of this resolution, the City will be held harmless for any funds not returned to the Minnesota DNR pertaining to this application should the Northern Minnesota Jeepers fail to comply with the funding of this project. Adopted by the City Council of the City of Gilbert on July 28, 2026. Done. All right, we just spoke about BSN to Casella. We're going to wait on, we're going to do some pilot work on that, correct? All right. And elected judges, we talked about that at length, right? And we did pass that Trudy Sale thing, don't we? Your business?
The what?
Trudy Sale, attended conference?
Yep.
That's done too. Okay, we got Troy Boone hired for equipment operator number 2 to do right now. And then we talked about that at the regular working session. It's now up to a vote by the council.
I'd like to make the motion to hire Troy Bruin for equipment operator 2.
Motion by Councilor Skirvik to approve the employment hiring of Troy Boone as a winning applicant for equipment operator number 2 in City of Gilbert. Do I hear a second? I'll second that motion. We'll vote. Any more discussion? Moved by Councilor Skirvik, second by the Mayor. All in favor, say aye. Aye? No. I'll have roll call. Councilor Fontaine? No. Councilor Reddick?
Yes.
Mayor Star, yes. Councilor Skirvik?
Yes.
Councilor Potocnik? No. Motion carries 3-2. Councilor Potocnik, Councilor Fontaine voting no, Mayor Star voting yes, Councilor Skirvik voting yes, and Councilor Reddick voting yes. Congratulations, Mr. Bruin, and City Clerk and City Public Works Director will get back to him and when to start and all that other stuff, right? Paperwork, right? Congratulations, Mr. Bruin. And we wish you luck here. Removing the base fee for commercial garbage. All right, I guess we talked about that at the working session. If that's what we need to do, or have to do, or should do, let's do it then. As long as we can still get a amount of base fee, even though there's an invisible container.
It's just not inherently obvious to the customer.
So I'm going to word the motion specifically, I think, to address your concerns. I would like to move to include the city's administrative fee in the total cost of commercial garbage for each customer.
And it is right now.
Yeah.
And then remove the $40 base fee that we had.
And remove the $40 base fee.
All right, Councilor Burke, I hope that I'm going to repeat that motion, but I think it's understood by the council and the clerk there. Any second to that? I'll second that. Move in second. Any more discussion?
So you're gonna add in there that this includes the base fee? Is that what you're gonna put on print, in print on the bill?
The motion was that we would include the city's administrative fees into the consumer's.
But you're not
pricing.
going to list it on the paper?
Correct.
This includes base fees?
Correct.
Okay.
Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries unanimously. LMC workshop.
We discussed that, and it's, I just need that paper back as to your availability.
All right. I should have asked you before, do you accept the council's decision to have you as the winning candidate? Did you
Yes.
say decline yet, or, okay? I want to get that on record, TV, that you accepted.
Yeah,
All right, Casell support. We did that already, no?
no,
Okay.
I handed out this before the meeting. It's an updated one. There was one on the back page, but that has been revised. We had talked, well, we all know that we're very far behind and know that we're talking about not doing any IT updates. This is not necessarily an IT update. This is Casell helping us reconcile 24 and 25 data so that we can get the audits done quicker. Instead of having someone else come in and try to do some of the legwork, Casell offers this service, and they've included here in this proposal what that costs. One of the things that they, on the last, not the last page, I guess page 4, kind of outlines the cost of them. We can have them go back to January of 2024 and do the reconciliations that we need going forward, and we can have them do it for as long as we want. I mean, they would do it after we were caught up as well. The cost, they also, one of the things that they like is to be on the cloud so that they don't have to VPN into our system, which then, well, Brian, you would know, kind of is not necessarily as secure as the cloud-based, I guess, and it's not as stable, I suppose. I don't know for sure. But if we went to the cloud-based Casell, then we don't have any updates that we have to have CIT do. We don't have, they manage all of that. So they also can, they can also move us from, there was one item I did not add to this agenda that I wanted to, I guess, so, and that is the cash basis versus accrual basis that we talked about. But if we did decide to go from accrual
You're still on the agenda, you can still bring that up.
okay. So,
You forgot,
yeah,
skip, go back.
okay. Well, if we go from accrual basis to cash basis, with everything except water and sewer, which according to state statute in the auditor's office, we have to keep that on accrual basis because we have debt for those two things. Everything else can go to cash basis, and we'll shorten up and make our audits very quick. I don't know if you all understand the difference between cash and accrual. Basically, when you take in cash, you record it. On an accrual basis, what ends up happening is at the end of the year, if you have any money that's due you, the auditors have to go through all of your accounts and move money back into the previous year so that you can record the income. And then at the end of the year, after the audit, they have to go back and move it back into the new year. It is just a lot of extra work for the auditors. And with our situation of being behind and wanting to get the 24 audit done, it's a good option. I have, it down here. I have from our auditor and from, let me see it here. It's not it. Here it is. Okay, so from our auditor, Chris, and I asked him if he would point out what some of the pros and cons would be to go from accrual to cash. Typically, there's a lower cost to complete the audit and it's less complex. Typically easier for council to understand as it's more closely aligned with budgets and cash management. Typically less administrative burden. The city will only have to record receivables, payables other assets for 2 funds instead of all of the city funds. Minnesota PFA allows this method for funds that do not have PFA funding. The cons are not all fixed assets are tracked for financial reporting purposes, so we have to track those internally. While all of the debts reported for water and sewer, anything governmental is only reported as a schedule in the note. Not as comparable to other local governments, as there is no government-wide statement included in the financials. His last line here says, this would be our recommendation, and if I understood correctly from our call yesterday, Vicki would support this as well.
2 questions, actually. One is more of a statement, the other is a question. First of all, I will say that I'm hugely in favor of cash-based accounting. It's much simpler. It streamlines a lot of stuff, and it makes it in the places where we have things where our numbers don't match. We're going to have a lot more of our numbers matching, so it's going to be easier for us to understand our budgets. That's just on a baseline. So with that said, one other area that I would point out that I think we need to have a policy on is the campground. I believe they currently operate solely off of cash-based accounting. They don't accept money for future reservations until the turn of the next year. We need to have a policy to solidify that practice. So, but I believe that is what we are currently doing. And I know just from a long history of working with things that are future reserve types of things, if we have to count the cash when we receive it, we're going to want to hold and have a reservation start after the first of the year.
Okay, then what are you asking here for?
I'm asking for the council's a resolution to approve that we go from accrued basis to cash.
Yeah, a motion.
I think it has to be a resolution, doesn't it?
Yeah, so she was asking 2 things. One was the Cassell piece, and this is where we identified that this was the other thing that you needed to put in your report, because
that's what I said, Paul, like, is there something else, and I knew it was.
So she did have a resolution that she wanted to put forward in her report that's directly tied to the speed in which we can get some of the audits done, because this will simplify a lot of it. So it's resolution 2026-20, which essentially approves us moving from an accrual-based accounting to cash-based accounting.
It was in our packet?
Yeah, it was in our.
You just forgot to tell us.
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would recommend that we act on this first, since the Cassell discussion has a dependency of this.
Right.
So in that vein, I'm going to go ahead and make the motion to approve Resolution 2026, moving the city from a accrual-based reporting to a cash-based basis of accounting.
I agree. Moved by Councilor Skirvich, supported by any councilors.
I'll support it.
Councilor Reddick to approve resolution number 2026-20. And discussion, and if it doesn't work, we can move back.
Except for the 2 funds you should add in there.
Huh?
Yeah, we should say.
Except for the 2 funds you should add in there.
That's included in the.
Or in the it's included in the resolution.
It's included in the resolution.
Oh, it is, okay.
Yeah.
When is this going to take place?
As of January
What
1st,
2 funds are we talking about?
27,
2024.
24.
So that our 24 audit is easier to complete.
So how is this going to affect the audits that they're doing now?
It doesn't.
The timeline on the audits that they're doing now?
They're only doing the 23 audit right now.
Yeah.
And when they're done with that, he can make those adjustments for January 1st of 2024 to move forward and do the audit for 2024 in a more timely manner.
I thought they had done some stuff on 24 already.
Just schedules about, and then they haven't, the auditors have not. Abdo did a few things, but they couldn't do a lot because they don't have final numbers for 23.
Mr. Chris yesterday said to me that once we get this 23 done at this end of this week, and in our hands in a week or two, 24, 25 will be quick, a little bit quicker by the end of August, I think he said.
Right, and if we go to the cash basis, he said that it would make it much quicker.
By the end of August, we have this done, and then BFA, by the end of August, early September, has no other excuse but to release that money.
Well, and the other thing we have to do is get 2024 cleaned up so that they can do the audit, and that's where the Cassell part of it comes in.
This is just doing the 24 audit, not the 23.
They're doing the 23 now.
So,
But
So that doesn't
you're not
change
going to
anything.
cash.
No, it doesn't change anything that they're doing, because they're almost done with 23, so we wouldn't do anything with 23 and let them finish. And then they would move on to 24 with cash basis.
I'm gonna allow Nancy to come to the podium and tell us, you're shaking your head no, I wanna know why you're saying no, okay?
Sorry, I can't always control.
I wanna know what your opinion is. This is kinda like maybe one, yeah.
I would not switch from an accrual basis to a cash basis. That's just my opinion. Cash basis is, I agree, much easier. However, it's going to have, what you don't get to see, especially for government with transparency issues, is you don't get to see what is, what the long-term effect is. So for instance, in January, you're going to get invoices for things that happened in December, that you budgeted for in December. And then when you're on a cash basis, if you pay that in January, it's in a whole new year and in a whole different month. And then you look like you are under budget in December.
That's when you change your budget.
So, and you can change your budget, but, and there's truly pros and cons both ways. I believe with government, the accrual basis is better because your numbers then reflect what actually happened in the month that they happened, and when other people are looking at your budgets and your numbers, they can understand them better. I totally agree though, from an audit perspective, it's way, way easier. It'll make your audits much cheaper. But to me, that is a short-term benefit that is not going to be offset by a transparency issue. It really can go both ways. I prefer accrual accounting because I believe it gives a better picture of what's actually happening, not just when the cash is changing hands, because we all know that it takes a while sometimes, especially like with PFA. If you are now going to be, you're going to get some grant funds released from PFA, if you pushed this 6 months further, if it will look as though you're funding for projects, it's off because the expense is occurring over here in this year, or I should say the expense is occurring in the future, but the benefit is here. Do you know what I mean? There are pros and cons both ways.
I've worked for 30 plus years, and I've worked on both sides of having accrual-based or having cash-based. Where we are in the scenario that we're at right now with the pressures of having to get our audits, we
Yeah.
we need solutions to get our audits done quickly because we're not able to take out loans.
And
That trumps everything.
I totally get that. You're in a bad situation with that. I would be concerned that you're making a decision about a short-term gain and that the long-term might be better, but again, I don't have all the detailed knowledge that
Like I mentioned, we can always change this.
you can,
Resolution.
but going back
Going back
and
is
forth is, going back and forth is traditionally not a well-accepted concept.
I
If you
think-
change it once, I wouldn't change it back.
I think one of the things that we need to realize is that if we do go to a cash-based accounting, when we're doing budgeting, and this is where we're gonna have to put a lot of trust and faith into Lynn's expertise, is being able to reflect those budgets on either a rolling 12 or a 10+2 or something like that, so we can account for the changes and be able to see where those discrepancies come. But I still think for where we are right now, more of our numbers will match more closely on a cash basis than on an accrual basis.
And the other thing
Yeah.
is that if you have expenses that carry over to January, you still have expenses that are, I mean, it's rolling, it's.
It's a continual rolling, so once you get on a cash basis and you're on there for a long time, it really kind of doesn't matter except with major project work.
Yeah, and that's gonna come into place with, you know, a major IRRR funded piece, and we're gonna be tracking that separately
We do.
anyway.
Once you get on either method, like I said, there's pros and cons both ways. A well-managed either method is going to work really well for you. So,
Thank you, Ms. Hanford.
you are welcome. You guys, I'm going to take off, but very much good luck. And then if you ever want anything or need an opinion, I'm
Thank
happy
you.
to help you.
Okay, thank you.
All right,
Bye.
any more discussion? There's been a motion and a second to approve this resolution. No more discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye.
I,
Opposed say nay. Motion carries 5-0. I need to read the resolution number 2026-20, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Gilbert, Minnesota, approving a change in the city's financial reporting method from the accrual basis to the cash regulatory basis of accounting. Whereas the City of Gilbert currently utilizes the accrual basis of accounting for its annual financial reporting and budgeting processes, and whereas the City Council possesses full statutory authority over financial affairs, account settlements, and fiscal policies of the city, and whereas the City Council has elevated the administrative resources, reporting efficiency, and financial tracking needs of the municipality, and whereas the Office of the State Auditor for the State of Minnesota permits eligible cities to report financial statements on cash basis of accounting, and whereas the City Council finds that transitioning to a cash basis of accounting for all of, except for water and sewer, which will remain on an accrual basis per the state requirements, will simplify financial management, reduce annual auditing complexities, and provide greater clarity regarding the city's immediate cash position to the public and staff. Now therefore be resolved by the City Council of the City of Gilbert, Minnesota as follows. 1, approval of the change. The City Council hereby authorizes and approves the transition of the city's official accounting and financial reporting methods from the accrual basis to the cash regulatory basis of accounting. And 2, effective date. This change shall take effect immediately and shall apply to the financial reporting cycle for the fiscal year December 31st, 2024, and also subsequent fiscal years unless amended by the further action of this council. 3, administrative authorization. City clerk, treasurer, and designated municipal financial staff are hereby authorized and directed to take all necessary administrative actions, modify financial software systems, and coordinate with the city's independent auditors to implement this transition in accordance with Minnesota State Auditor guidelines. Passed and adopted by the City Council of the City of Gilbert, Minnesota, this 28th day of July 2026. Complete. All right, Moving on.
Let's go back to the Cassell conversation. This goes back then to the Cassell conversation that started all this.
Okay, we can't do none of it, do nothing, we're gonna do a pilot, we direct you to do a pilot and check it out, but we're not really.
No, this is
moving.
different. This isn't PSN. This is actually them working in our accounting system that's already there and established to help us reconcile and make sure things are where they are supposed to be so that the auditors can move forward.
So Lynn, I think it might help if you can quantify. I know from our conversations that the reconciliation process is a huge part of the audit process. It's a huge body of the work that needs to get done.
Yep.
Let's not look at 2023, but let's look at 2024. If you had to say, as a percentage of the total work that needs to be done for the audit, how much would you say is reconciliation?
85, 90%.
There you go. So what she's asking for in this Cassell piece is, this is where we, you look at how understaffed we are in City Hall. This is where we're spending, I would say, smart money to get the resources, to get the work done, the bulk of the work of the audit stuff, the tracking down of individual questions and stuff. We're still going to have to do some of that kind of stuff, but it's the reconciliation piece of the audit that is the lion's share. So if we can automate that and speed this up, that's what approving this does.
Right. And this is where, when I interviewed, I said, is there going to be some help to get caught up? And this, by far, is a lot cheaper than asking someone to come in, get hired, train them on our system, and there's a huge learning curve with that, huge learning curve. This way, Cassell already knows our software, they know the ins and outs and how things should work. That's the advantage that we have, and the price for them to do this is way lower than what I could hire somebody for.
Yeah, that's just looking at the numbers. That's what I was putting in my head. What would it cost for us to hire a conduit or
Right.
hire a staff person to do
Right.
this? This is far less expensive.
Right. And it's
And-
quicker.
And quicker.
Right.
And we get through the process. So that's kind of the point that I think we need to consider in this if we want to get through the 24, the 25,
Quicker.
and get back up to like the day-to-day.
Right. And they can help us with those processes of day-to-day, and that's part of what they offer as well. They can do continued service for us, and then when we decide we can take it on ourselves, and I asked them, I said, do you prepare processes? And they said, basically what we do is we go through it, we don't document those processes, but for like a 2-month period, we walk through it with you and then give you our notes, and you can set up actual, like a procedure, so to speak. But by that time, it's already so, like, what do I want to call it? I've been using well-oiled machine as a reference. So,
Okay, how much, what's the motion look like?
Is this for 24 and 25, but you're gonna do 26? Is that what you're saying?
well, that is up to you guys. 24 and 25, and they could get us caught up through June of 26, or whatever it is that we determine is the way we want them to go. That's why there are some options on here.
I would personally say if there's an option for us to have them focus on 24, 25, we can worry about 26
Yep, and we can
down the
always,
road, but 24, 25 are the ones that we need
Yep.
to apply for loans.
right. And the other thing, when I talked to them about it today, again, they said that if I decide that I want to keep going at any time, they will keep going. It's not like you have to sign, oh, we need another year contract. We can say, no, we can continue for a month or
Any more
2.
renewals?
Right.
Just have a verbal renewal? Oh, we have to make a motion here.
We could make a motion, but at that time, it would be, we'd have a better understanding where we are.
At the
and
same
when
rate,
it's-
at the same rates? They're gonna have to ask, somewhere down the road, that one more money.
They're what, sorry?
They're gonna want more money at some point in time, if we have.
Right.
Right. But at that point is when we would decide to do that.
Continue on.
I
Right.
mean, they're charging us $750 per month for each month that they're doing this.
Right, that's like
That's nothing.
nothing. That's why I said I can't get someone in here, I
It's good
can't.
until they want to change it.
Right,
We want to change it.
I would say we should do this for the months that would catch us up for the 24 and
and then
25.
revisit.
And then if it's working well, then we re-sign. If it's not, then we do it ourselves.
Well, 26 is almost over, everybody, so.
We're half the,
Well, it's a little different. We have a clerk that's putting things in there for 2026.
Right,
I mean,
that's-
We had clerks that didn't touch that system.
That's the
so-
other piece that we can evaluate
Right.
too, is like,
Right.
what is the
That's why
body of
it'll
work
be
for
different,
26?
right? I
Yeah.
agree.
Okay.
Item number 4 here is moving to the cloud instead of having it hosted on our desktops. That is something that they said, that's helpful for them because they can log in and manage the whole software. They have updates when, like quarterly they have updates. And almost every time we do an update, we end up having trouble with our system and we have to go into each machine and update it, and then we have to call back CIT because there's a threat locker that's been triggered. And so for us to move to the cloud is a good option, I think, but
So to clarify, if you switch to the cloud option, you won't necessarily have a piece of software on your PC.
No.
You'll be logging into a website.
Right.
That's, okay. So my question for Council Redpenning is, in terms of risk, what are your thoughts on that?
CIP is gonna have to come through and make sure our antivirus is all up to date. Because anytime we go to the cloud, there's a potential for data to be leaked.
Cyber attack.
So, have to contact CIP to make sure all of our PCs are up to date. As far as going to the cloud, they usually have some sort of a,
dual authentication.
yeah, they have like an MFA.
Yeah, multi-factor
Okay, yeah.
authentication.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
So I would be in support of it then if CIT kind of gives their blessing and says, you know, we've got everything that we need to do. I just don't want to have anything get caught in a transition. I strongly prefer cloud-based just about anything. It helps us with disaster recovery
Right.
options. It gives us more options, like, you know, if we have another COVID or whatever,
Right.
you know, we're able to be more flexible.
Okay, did I hear Councilor Redpain make a motion on this? What did I hear make a motion on? No?
I'll go ahead and make a motion for, do we have to do all of these items, Lynn?
No, we can check which we want.
Okay. I'm in favor of doing item 1 and item 4.
But if we want them to help us with the going from cash to accrual, that's item 3.
Oh, okay, I didn't see that.
What's the total cost gonna be?
Let's see, 9.
Item 1 is 9,000, that's for the 2 years. Item 3 is 8,000, and that's a one-time cost because we'd be switching from accrual to cash.
And then being cloud-based,
Cloud-based is 3,000 annually.
that's a discount annually. The cloud-based fee is $4,080 a year.
So they would credit us 3,000 of that?
I'm sorry? I think that is with the $3,000 discount. I think the $3,000 is a discount on all of this included in this price because it's easier for them to access our system if it's on cloud. So they try to incentivize you to go to cloud.
So that's $15,000,
$9,
$16,000, $15,000.
17, and then the increase in the platform, which we pay that monthly at this point.
So you're talking about 20 then, you're saying?
17 and 43 to 21-ish. We can't hire someone for $21,000.
As far as our budget goes, is that something we have in our budget to?
We're not paying Mike.
Well, that's true. That actually was a big budget item from last year, was it?
Lots of room there, yeah.
It's just tough, and I'm not certain.
Your question? Go ahead.
I don't know if we have this in the budget. I mean, we don't even know what the budget we have right now is, right?
We had the clerk position and a deputy clerk position for this budget, and we
Yeah.
haven't had the clerk position as far as
we're-
that, or the deputy, whichever
Since
you want to say.
February, since February or March already.
Yeah, so we
We're
have
6 months already.
6 months of salary that we haven't used, although we have used some of that in overtime costs. But I think we still have plenty of room for this cost.
Well, the other option is you hire someone for $65,000 a year, and then you pay
We
benefits
have
on
to
top
train
of
them
it.
and all that, yeah. So I think this is
Or else you
being a better steward of those budget line items that we have.
That's in the city hall budget, but if you want to save that money and shift it over to some other department or way, that's a council decision, but I'm okay with this move, because the money is in the city hall budget. Because we haven't had a clerk since, I don't know, March anyway.
I'll go ahead and make the motion to approve items 1, 3, and 4 of the proposal.
And that adds up to how much, say 21?
That's fine.
Okay, motion by Councilor Skrillex, supported by
I'll support it.
Councilor Redpain, to approve that, that
So let's-
sell programs on cloud and other programs, what do you want to name that? What's the name of that?
Reconciliation help.
Reconciliation help for up to like $21,000 of help for the city staff. Motion and approved, seconded, and any more discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. All right. Move the regular council meeting of August 11th and August 12th with the working session at 5 o'clock.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilor Topchick, supported by Councilor Skrillex. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Have a special meeting for August 4th and August 18th, beginning at 8 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. Right. I'm looking at that clock. 6 o'clock, and with those items on the agenda that we've already discussed, to put on the agenda for those things.
Yep.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilor Topchick, supported by Councilor Skrillex to approve these special meetings for the budget and other certain actions, judges, and contract negotiations, and we had
Bid award for the bid for manholes.
Award for the manhole bids, yeah. At 6 o'clock, any more discussion on us? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. No miscellaneous. Okay, we got closed session for possible disciplinary action, so we'll close this regular meeting.
Move to close the regular meeting and go to a closed session.
Second.
Moved by Councilor Potapnik, supported by Councilor Skrillex to move into to adjourn this regular meeting at 8:19. Not adjourn this, but recess this meeting. All right, recess. Agree?
Recess.
Recess. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. All right, we'll go into the other room for closed session. What, reconvene this regular council meeting of July 28th to order. Okay, roll call at 7:25.
Councilor Todd-
9:25, excuse me,
9:25.
9:25.
It took us 5 minutes to get from there to here. That's because the clock's wrong.
Yeah, what's
Councilor Vrtajnik,
Present.
Councilor Skrillex,
Here.
Mayor Oberstar,
here?
Councilor Reddening,
Here.
Councilor Cotton.
Here.
Again, I got so much flack over this thing, it's gonna matter at some point in time, I tell you. I'm gonna have this thing, I've been through it before. Okay.
Move to close?
No action necessary based on our closed meeting discussions. Move to adjourn is in order.
Move to adjourn.
Second. Motion by Councilor Vrtajnik, supported by Councilor Skrillex to adjourn at 9:26. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Good night. We are adjourned.